Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into one of the most important questions in business, maybe the most important question. What are my customers really thinking? And to figure that out, we're not going to crack open a textbook. Nope, we're going to use this.
Okay, so this is the big one, isn't it? It seriously doesn't matter if you're some huge global brand or just starting an online shop from your bedroom, this is the million-dollar question. And the entire field of marketing research, it exists for one simple reason: to find the answer.
So how in the world do businesses actually get these answers? Well, for this explainer, we're going to use a flyer from a consultancy based in Jakarta called Leap Research. This is going to be our guide. Now, I know there's a lot on here, a whole menu of services. Don't even worry about trying to read it all. We're just going to use this list as a kind of map to unpack the entire world of marketing research piece by piece.
All right, let's start with the absolute fundamentals. When you want to get some real insight into your customers, there are really two main roads you can take, two totally different kinds of knowledge you can go after.
And here they are, broken down nice and simple. Just think of it like an election, right? Quantitative research, that's like counting all the votes. It tells you how many people chose a certain candidate. Super useful. But qualitative research, that's like listening to the campaign speeches and talking to the voters. It tells you why they voted that way. One is the what, the other is the why.
And what do you know? Take a look at the very first two services right there on the Leap Research flyer. Boom. The two pillars we just talked about, quantitative and qualitative. So you can see right away, this is the absolute starting point for everything that they do.
But, getting real answers isn't quite as simple as just picking one of those two paths and calling it a day. A real research project is more of a journey. It has some really clear steps. So let's move on and see how this all builds.
So any decent research project is going to follow this logical flow. And if we look back at our flyer, we can see this exact journey laid out. Consultation and design? Yep, that's their services number 3 and 4. Then you get into project execution, that's number 5 on their list, and it all wraps up with data analysis, which, look at that, is service number 8. It's a super clear path from a question to an actual insight.
So let's just zoom in for a second on that first step, consultation. This lines up perfectly with services 3 and 4 on the flyer. And honestly, this part is so critical, because asking the right question from the very beginning is what stops you from wasting a ton of time and money getting the wrong answers later on. Now, it's pretty easy to think of research as just a simple transaction, right? You pay for data, you get data back. But what if a company needs more than just a report? What if they need, ongoing guidance or help building up their own skills?
And this brings us to a really interesting part of the research world. Sometimes the most valuable thing a consultancy can offer isn't just running a project for you, but actually helping your company get better at finding its own insights.
And we can see this happening right here in our case study. Just look at services 6 and 7. A liaison officer, that's basically for a company that doesn't even have its own research team. The consultancy literally becomes their research department. And marketing research training? Well, that's about teaching the client how to fish, so to speak. It's about empowering their own team. This goes way beyond a one-off project. This is about building a real, long-term relationship.
So when you put it all together, you get this, 8 services. And it's not just some random list, you see. It's a complete ecosystem. You've got the what and the why, you've got the full project journey from start to finish, and you even have the support and training to build a true partnership. It really is the whole package.
Which brings us right back to their tagline, your trusted research partner. After seeing all this, that phrase isn't just some marketing fluff, is it? When you see how they cover everything from the first question to the final training, you realize they're not just selling a service, they're positioning themselves as a partner. It all just clicks into place.
So, we've just walked through the entire marketing research process, from those two big paths, the what and the why, all the way to the final analysis and beyond. And that leaves us with just one final question. But this one's for you. Now that you understand the journey, what's the very first question you'd want to ask?